Shine with Kendell Lenice. Real talk for real people. Let's shine together.
Welcome to Shine with Kendell Lenice. I am your host, transformational life coach, Kendell Lenice. I'm also an author, a content creator, a speaker, a healing coach, a certified meditation practitioner, and a lover of people. I want to see you win, and that's what this podcast is about. It's a life podcast. You'll get some live life coaching, you'll get some amazing guests, and most importantly, you'll heal and laugh. It's all about education, elevation, and entertainment. I don't know how you stumbled upon this podcast, but I'm so glad you did. If you haven't already, please subscribe and rate if you can. We are available on all podcast outlets. Also, follow me on social media at Kendell Lenice across the board. Now on to this week's show. Hey everybody, it is Kendell Lenice and welcome to Shine. I'm so glad that you stumbled upon this podcast or came here intentionally. Either way, I thank you so much for showing up as you always do. Don't forget to subscribe if you're able to subscribe to this podcast. And if you're able to leave a message, a comment, please do so. But most importantly, tell your friends. All right, so this is going to be a good podcast today. Episode, as always. It's all about education, elevation, and entertainment. And hopefully I'll do just that. Won't keep you long, but I had to check in with you. As always, let's start with this week's Life Note. All right, it's time for this week's Life Note. All right, got myself together. During the intro, I was eating a frozen grape, and I was trying to finish it, and the intro stopped. So, excuse me, if this is your first time listening, I appreciate it. And that's not how I roll. This is how I roll, starting with this week's Life Note. A Life Note is a quote or a saying that'll take you through this episode's topic, the rest of the week, next month, next year. You do what you want with it. All right, this week's Life Note, I don't know who this is by. Marmont Hill. I'm not sure if that's the author or what, but it's attract what you expect, reflect what you desire, become what you respect, mirror what you admire. That's this week's Life Note. All right, today's show is all about finding your way back to you. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is, and fill in the blank, because life is lifing, and sometimes you forget who the heck you are. As a life coach, I talk to men and women that often forget who you are. When you go through troubles, trials, trauma, you forget who you are, whose you are, and what you're made of. Trials and tribulations will have you forgetting who you are. We have all been there, where for a second you get stuck on stupid. You forget who you are. You forget how you've come so far. What has happened to build your muscle. What's made you stronger over these years. And I just want to remind you that you are amazingly dope. You are beautiful. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And oftentimes people forget that because life keeps going. Things keep happening. The time doesn't stand still. And many people forget who the heck they are. But I'm here to remind you of who you are. So we're going to talk about ways that you can get back to yourself, find yourself again, rediscover who you are. If you're feeling lost, or if you just plain old forgot. Hopefully this episode will remind you of who you are. So when we come back, we're going to be talking about ways to help you find yourself again. We'll take a quick break. Be right back. Are you stuck in a dead-end job or relationship? Do you lack motivation? Are you unhappy with the way your life is turning out? Do you have a difficult time achieving goals and reaching your dreams? Are you ready to get back to what's important? Do you want to just spice up your life? Are you at a crossroads in life and you don't know which way to turn? All of these things I can help you with. My name is Kendell Lenice and I'm a certified transformational life coach. For more information about my life coaching services, please visit livingtruelivingyou.com. Now back to the show. I was thinking about Fantasia's song, Sometimes You Gotta Lose to Win Again. And I remember when Fantasia Barrino, for those that don't know, she was American Idol's winner many years ago. She was a single mom, teenage mom at one point. She can sing flat-footed. Her teeth were crooked. You know, she was brown-skinned. She sang churchy, and she wasn't conforming. And she was a runner-up. Then we had Jennifer Hudson, and then we had LaToya. I can't remember her last name right now, but I liked her. All three were in the top three. And people were like, yeah, Fantasia can sing. You know, she can take you to church. But she's not as polished as LaToya or the other ones. And I remember that being a discussion, naming everything that I named prior to. But it was beautiful. They were all three brown-skinned women in the final three, top three, however you want to call it. And Fantasia ended up winning. They were dogging her for her teeth. Honey, she got them braces. She got her teeth fixed. Her hair is always late. She has come a long way. But I remember when she went back to American Idol to sing, Sometimes You Gotta Lose to Win Again. And I remember that was after all of the news when she tried to commit suicide, when she was with the married man who said he wasn't with his wife anymore, and she got pregnant with her second child. And then the wife sued her for alienation of affection. You can do that in North Carolina. She did that. And she was down bad. You know, she didn't want to live. She was in a hospital, everything. God saved her life. And I remember shortly after that, she came on American Idol. It's on YouTube. You can Google it. And when she sang that song, Sometimes You Gotta Lose to Win Again, and the inflection, the feeling, the passion, you can see it, you can feel it. That's when Mariah Carey was a judge, and Nicki Minaj, and, you know, that whole crew, Randy, and I watched that performance often. I remember watching it live, and something in the pit of my stomach felt that with every fiber of my being. And then over the last, few years, I've had some ups and downs, and I still listen to that, and it still just really, really moves me. That live performance, if you haven't checked that out, definitely check that out. But she had to rebuild, and she had to find herself again, and she had to remind herself of who she was and who she is. Now she is thriving. She's looking beautiful than ever. She's married to Kendall, who she married shortly after she married him. And I remember that wasn't that long after everything that she had been through. People were like, oh, she's picking bad again. Oh, look, he's out for her money. He blah, 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 blah. And he seems like he is great for her. They're great as a union, as a couple. And it seems like that marriage is working. They had another baby. You know, he travels with her. They talk about the word all the time. It seems like it works. And I'm sure within those time spans, she had to pick herself up, pray herself up, and find herself again. This happens with both men and women, you know, trying to rebuild and find yourself after you lose yourself for whatever reason. So I was reading this, and this is a website, Thought Catalog, and it says, if we never lose ourselves, we may never understand how gratifying it is to find ourselves. It allows us to dig deeper than we've ever had before, revealing the truth about who we are and what we want. Experiencing life, experiencing change, and the experiences change us. They mold us, they shape us, and they prepare us. That's deep, right? So what does it mean to lose yourself? It's saying that if you never lose yourself, you may never understand how gratifying it is to find yourself. That's deep. And then I was looking at something, it said medium.com. Finding yourself is important, but ironically, it doesn't really become complete until you lose yourself. Same sentiment, I agree. The end goal of self-improvement isn't to improve yourself. The end goal of self-improvement is to become the kind of person that can make the world a better place. I agree with that. And really starting with you, because people talk about losing a job, losing a relationship, losing a friendship, losing all of these things, and they fight to get them back. And I need you to have the same urgency to fight to get yourself back. Because people lose themselves. We can talk about parenting, even moms and dads, especially moms. Moms lose themselves in motherhood, and they forget that they were a woman first. And I know I'm talking to some mom out there, some grandmom raising kids. You forget, some dad, that you are a person first before you were a parent. And sometimes people get lost in that. I've seen young married couples get lost in marriages where you can't tell who is who because they blend, because they're giving everything away to that new spouse. And you've heard people say, I lost myself in that marriage. I lost myself in, and I see it happening all the time. And then when a marriage parts and people have been married 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, you've heard people say that. They lost themselves. I know people that have been married their whole lives and they're in their 50s and 60s, been married 30 years, and they feel like they've lost themselves. And now a lot of them divorce or they're widows, and they start discovering themselves again. Have you ever seen that happen where people they forgot who they were, and then they start discovering who they were again? And I know a client asked me, how do you find yourself again after losing yourself in a relationship? So it's really, and I said, finding yourself is falling in love with yourself just like you did with whoever you were in the relationship with. That's what I told her. She's like, I don't know how to love myself because even when I was married, he didn't love me. That's what she said. And he convinced me that I didn't love me. So how do you find yourself? And I say you have to fall in love with yourself. You have to begin to understand who you are, what you really like, what you don't really like. Spending time with yourself can allow you to fall in love with yourself and really get to know who you are. I saw this online, and this was a family website. I think it said, I'm going to make sure because I want to credit where it is, the Staten Island family. And it said 9 ways to love yourself. And a lot of people just don't know. And I was looking like all of these things, like all of these ways to love yourself. If you're still in a relationship, talk to your partner. Avoid romanticizing your partner. This is talking about love. 9 ways to find your way back after losing yourself in love. Make hard decisions. Stay close or reconnect to your family. And those are some of the things that they had. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Because sometimes when you lose yourself and it's wrapped in someone else, you forget who you are. You forget who you used to be. You forget how dope you were. You become what other people think you are. And then you really don't know yourself. When I'm coaching, I coach all ages, from teenagers to people 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s. But lately I have been getting a lot of people 50 and over, because they are in that space where they forgot who they are, because they have been at jobs for 20, 30, 40 years. Well, 30 years. They have been in relationships that long. And when the jobs end or the relationships end, they don't know. Then you have some younger people, believe it or not, who have been in relationships since they were like 12, 13, 14. I had a client then. So you don't you don't know. And that's not a client. That was where I spoke one time. And I remember someone was saying they had been in a relationship since they were 13. And I think they were in their 30s. So sometimes, and even when at that age, you forget, who you are, or you don't even know yet. So purposefairy.com gives 8 things you should let go to find your way back to yourself. So let's get into those. This is not going to be a long episode. Let's talk about it. 8 things you should let go to find yourself. Again, let go of the need to please everyone around you. I totally agree. One of the most important things in finding your way back to yourself, it says, is letting go of unhealthy needs to please everyone around you. You have to understand that you weren't born to be what people in your life want you to be. Say that again. You were born to be yourself, and letting go of that need to please everyone and finding the courage to walk your own path, you will find your way back to yourself. Love that. Number 2, let go of the need to identify yourself with what you do. How many people do that? You identify yourself for what you do. There's a difference between who you are, y'all, and what you do. All right. So this says, by identifying yourself with what you do, your career, your title, how much money you make, etc., you damage who you truly are to the core level, and you harm your beautiful heart and loving soul, it says. If you're serious to find your way back to yourself, and if you want to live your life in alignment with your life's purpose, you need to let go. And you need to start perceiving yourself as a human being instead of human doing. Love that. And they have being with the B-E capitalized, and instead of human doing with the D-O capitalized. Because just like you said, you aren't what you do. If you are what you do, then when you don't, you aren't. Now, that's deep. You aren't what you do. If you are what you do, then when you don't, you aren't. Meaning, if you're not doing that thing, then you don't know your value or worth without that thing. But you are who you are regardless. But some people allow certain things to define them. Then when they don't have those things in their lives, then they aren't. Just the scenario I gave earlier. If you're an empty nester and you feel like you don't have to mother because maybe your kids are grown, then you forget who you are. Kindred and Family Soul has this song that Aja sings, the wife of in Kindred Family Soul. It's called A Woman First. And I love that song, the way she sings it, the lyrics, and talking about her husband reminds her that she's a woman first, and he still makes her feel like a woman. Even sometimes when she doesn't feel like it, even she just had a baby and she's nursing and not sleeping and feeling like, she doesn't feel herself anymore. She talks about her husband reminding her that she's a woman first. And I remember seeing them, I love the song, listen to it, but seeing them perform that live, it's beautiful. And Kindred and Family Soul is a husband and wife group for those that don't know. And they sing everything together, but that's one of the songs that she sings by herself. And he'll be out on the stage. It's beautiful. Okay. So number 3 is let go of the identification with your unhealthy thoughts. The mind will fabricate all kinds of unhealthy stories about who you are, what you can or cannot do, and about how you will never find your way back to yourself. And even though all these toxic and negative thoughts will seem very real and true to you, you have to learn to look beyond them. That's right. Ignore the unhealthy thoughts. I like to say replace the unhealthy thoughts with positive thoughts. So the minute that an unhealthy thought enters your mind, guys, try to replace that with a positive thought so you can counteract and act out that unhealthy negative thought. All right. Good quote right in the middle of this. Don't believe everything you think. Thoughts are just that. Thoughts. Alan Locust. Just simple. All right. Number 4, let go of those people who no longer need or want to be in your life. Let it go. Desperately clinging to people who no longer need or want to be in your life can be a source of great suffering. And it can keep you from experiencing your own beauty and perfection. But by letting go, by allowing those you love to walk their own path, to live the life that they were intended to live, you will give yourself permission to find your way back home. Now listen to this quote by Maya Angelou, Dr. Maya Angelou, the late, the great Dr. Maya Angelou. Love liberates. It doesn't just hold. That's ego. Love liberates. It doesn't blind. Love says, I love you. I love you if you're in China. I love you if you're across town. I love you if you're in Harlem. I love you. I would like to be near you. I like to have your arms around me. I like to hear your voice in my ear. But that's not possible now, so I love you. Go. If you really listen to that, that's deep. Like, no matter where you are, I love you. But if it's time for you to go, I love you. Just go. That time is up. That's deep. Meaning that you can love someone enough to let them go. All right, number 5, let go of clutter. Never get so busy gathering and taking care of all your stuff that you neglect yourself in your life's path. Keep in mind that the relationship you have with yourself and your spouse's life or life's path is a lot more than the relationship you have with all your stuff. Letting go of the clutter, y'all. Find the strength, the courage, and confidence to let go of all those things that keep you from finding yourself. and from living your life in alignment with your life's purpose, and see how much better you will feel. Here's a quote by O.G. Mendino. Never again clutter your days or nights with so many menial and unimportant things that you have no time to accept a real challenge when it comes along. This applies to play as well as work. A day merely survived is no cause for celebration. You are not here to fritter away your precious hours when you have the ability to accomplish so much by making a slight change in your routine. No more busy work. No more hiding from success. Leave time, leave space to grow. Now, not tomorrow. Getting back to you, you got to have that urgency. You got to be intentional about it, y'all. Number 6, let go of the desire for safety and security. You might want to keep things from changing. You might want to feel safe and secure all the time. But the truth is that everything in life is changing. Nothing ever stays the same. This is the course of nature. This is the course of life. And since you are part of nature, since you are part of life, you too are meant to go through these natural changes. By taking the plunge into an unknown, by letting go of the desire for safety and security, you give yourself permission to live in harmony with your true nature and to put yourself back on the right path. Here's a quote from Alan Watts. To put it still more plainly, the desire for security and the feeling of insecurity are the same thing. To hold your breath is to lose your breath. A society based on the quest for security is nothing but a breath retention contest in which everyone is taught as a drum and as purple as a beat. I get that. Number 7 on this list from purposefairy.com. Let go of who you are to become who you were born to be. That's a way, y'all, you can get back to yourself. Your true nature is fluid and expansive, constantly growing and constantly expanding. And by letting go of your identification with your body, your name, your past, your partner, your family, your friends, your job, your religion, material possessions, or anything other than things that you identify yourself with, you get out of your own way and you allow yourself to become all that life intended you to become. Leo Tuzo, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. Woo! When I let go of what I have, I receive what I need. I'm going to read that again. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. When I let go of what I have, I receive what I need. That's deep. All right, 2 more, and then we're going to be out. Let go and start over. That's a way to get back to yourself. Cleanse yourself. Release and let go of all your limitations, all your bad programming, all the negative past conditionings that have been keeping you from experiencing who you truly are. And start living life from a place of love, truth, authenticity, inner power. Let go and start over. Guy Finley, nothing in the universe can stop you from letting go and starting over. That's a way to get back to yourself, y'all. Starting over. These are ways that you can get back to yourself. 8 things you should let go to find yourself. As I said, with Fantasia and those lyrics, sometimes you have to lose to win again. Let me pull up those lyrics for you, and that's how we're going to end. I want you guys, I know if you listen to this podcast and you go over to YouTube and look at the performance, American Idol performance of that song, at me in the comments. This is what she says in these lyrics. Fantasia Barrino. Songwriters Andrea Martin, Dennis Lambert, Francine Goldie, Harmony Samuels, Walter Orange. Never felt so ugly pretending that he loves me. Sometimes it's just that money never had to afford me. Now I'm sick and tired of you. Just taking right off. Know when I forgive you. You ain't here for dinner like I'm a beginner. I loved you for your inner. And the next guy is out there somewhere, but you won't dare because you're too scared. Have you ever needed someone so bad, but he ain't willing to make it last? Sometimes you gotta lose to win again. If it makes you cry, and all you do is fight, can't get no sleep at night, sometimes you gotta lose to win again. Ever felt so sorry, all you did was worry. You didn't want nobody, thought it would get better, but it's fallen more than ever. I just hope that we would, 'cause you always was up to no good. Maybe it'll take someone else to show me better, but I don't want to leave you, ever. Have you ever needed someone so bad, but he wasn't willing to make it last? Sometimes you got to lose to win again. If it makes you cry, all you do is fight, can't get no sleep at night. Sometimes you got to lose to win again. Some of you know what it feels like, caught up in just his light. Don't want to try again, thinking, what's the difference? Why am I not interested? Because when you've been broken, you feel like no one can fix it. Have you ever needed someone so bad? She goes through the chorus again. Sometimes you got to lose to win again. Have you ever needed someone so bad to make it last? Sometimes you got to lose to win again. And she said, caught up in his light. So you can think about caught up in her life, caught up in kids' life, caught up in a job life, caught up so much that you forget who you are. You need to be reminded every so often about who you are, what you've done, who you are to yourself, who you are to your God, who you are. And I know when you get caught up in life, when you get caught up in other people's lives, you forget who you are and you don't have a way to find yourself again and get back to who you are. So become who you want to be. Set goals, care about your health, journal and reflect. Start doing more of the things that feel good to your soul. Discover what you like, what you don't like. Have fun with it. Get back to who you are. Or if you don't know who you are to get back to, discover someone new. But make sure you put you first and you don't fall back into an old mindset or insecurities or self-doubt. I want you to be bold and intentional about finding your way back to you, accessing who you are or who you were. Be self-reliant, be independent, know your self-worth, don't settle for less than, and be happy. And if you feel yourself losing yourself again, stop it, cut that off, and find who you are. Be honest with yourself, be kind to yourself, and give yourself grace. Thank you so much for listening. We are going to sum it up, and then we're going to end. Let's see what the wow moment is from this episode. This week's wow moment. Takeaways from today's show. Let me know in the comments what your takeaways are from this show. But my takeaway from this episode is what I've been talking about. Even if you're losing and you feel that you're losing, you feel like you lost everything, including yourself, you can always make your way back to yourself. And sometimes you got to lose to win again. That's my takeaway for this episode. Please share what your takeaway is from this episode. And if you feel someone needs to hear this, please, please, please make sure you share this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys so much. Remember, you are a star. Don't allow anyone to dim your shine. Until next time, God bless. Peace. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at Kendell Lenice. And also go on over to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Again, thank you so much for your support. God bless y'all. Peace. Thanks for listening. This has been a Kenny Lynn production.
Shine with Kendell Lenice. Real talk for real people. Let's shine together.